Hello everyone and welcome to Superman Homepage Live, brought to you by supermanhomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. In this, our April 4th, 2022 show, could say April Fool's Day, the way Mixie was probably in there mucking around with our technical issues. Apologise for that if you found our new stream. For those live watchers, we appreciate you rejoining us. Apologies for those technical issues. They happen from time to time. But we're back on, we're airing live, we're going straight through for the next hour on Superman Homepage Live, where we're going to be talking about some stuff about are Superman fans toxic? We're going to be talking about why I'm going to be asking about that is because of the fact that there was a comment by a director who wants nothing to do with Superman movies now. We're going to be talking about upcoming comic books, the latest Superman and Lois episode, why we've got a break for new episodes, and so much more. We're also going to turn to you to ask for your questions and comments on any particular Superman topic you would like to pose to us, and to let you know how that happened. He's been waiting patiently there. He's been away for last week. My good friend and co-host, Michael Bailey. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Steve. How's it going?
Doing well, and yourself?
Oh, it could be better.
Yes.
But we're not here to talk about that tonight. We're here to talk about everything in the world of Superman, and I've got to be extra pizzazzy to make up for the fact that I wasn't here last week. But Superman Homepage Live is all about Superman, and therefore we want to hear from the people that are watching us live on YouTube right now. So about halfway through the show, and if we don't have too much going on, we want to hear from you. So how does that work? Well, it's pretty simple. First, you're going to need Skype. Go to Skype, find Superman Homepage, and then message us that you'd like to be on the show. Now, a couple of things, and they're kind of important. One, please message us. Don't just call. As we are on a new stream, you can see that this is all kinds of kablooey at any moment. I do blame Mr. Mixes-Pitalik this week, just because of the nearness to the holiday of his birthday. Also, if we do have you on and you are watching Superman Homepage Live via an external speaker, please mute that because we are on a bit of a delay and that can kind of screw things up.
Yes, indeed. And for those who are tuning in live via YouTube tonight, we appreciate you joining us. If we invite you to participate in the comments, right there in the comments, we've got Michael, Mind the Gap, Norbert, we've got John, we've got Virginia, and so many others joining in live. Participate in the comments, chat with them, ask us questions, post your comments. We'll keep an eye on that, react to it as the show goes on. And if you'd like your question or comment featured on the screen live during the show, that's called a super chat. All you have to do is click the little dollar symbol there. A slider will appear on your screen. You decide on the dollar amount you're willing to donate, and we will feature your comment or question on the screen as we go to air. And thank you to our patrons and sponsors, Douglas Meacham, John Patrick Van Pelt, and Tina Murray. And yes, we still haven't heard from Blaze Candle Co., who were our major sponsor, to see if they want to renew with us. But if you would like to have your company sponsor our show, feel free to click the join button below, or you can contact me at info@supermanhomepage.com, email address on the bottom of your screen right there, and we'll happily feature your business or venture on this show. Mike, it's been 2 weeks since we've had a chat, and there's been a lot going on in the world of Superman. We've had new episodes of Superman and Lois. We've had lots of discussions, lots of rumors and things out there. Let's start with the movie side of things. And it's been an interesting week because there's been a couple of rumors going around and some comments. First, I want to touch on, I did a video all about this on a recent S-Files video that we like to do from time to time about recent rumors circulating around about that Sasha Calle's Supergirl will be replacing Henry Cavill's Superman in the DC Extended Universe. I called baloney on the rumors and the so-called sources that these people like to claim have the information. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, to be fair, the Warner Brothers has no end of ability to screw things up for Superman. So I'm going to say that as my snarky first answer. But the second one is there's no reason to. Superman is still an extremely identifiable character.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see them at this point going, okay, we're just going to bail on this version that we've had and replace it with Supergirl, which is fine. I mean, I'm not saying that having Supergirl is bad, or if they started up like a new like continuity and they wanted Supergirl to be the Kryptonian that they're going to push for, that'd be fine. But Superman and Henry Cavill have never been the problem in the equation.
No.
And if the executives see it that way, I think that's kind of foolish. But with how well Superman and Lois is performing on television, and I know that those departments may not talk to each other all that much, but it just doesn't make any sense. And I love when people have like sources.
Yes.
And usually that source is themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of funny. There's all kinds of crazy stuff going around because Discovery is taking over Warner Brothers. And my favorite headline, by the way, on that to discuss it, I just quick glanced at it, didn't read the article, but it was Discovery can't screw up the DC universe more than AT&T did. So if that's your baseline, I think that's kind of the general impression of what's going on for people who really don't understand how billion-dollar entertainment companies work.
Yes, indeed. So, yeah, interesting. But if you want to check out that video, it's up on the website, up on our YouTube channel. So you'll be able to check it out and let me know what you think in your comments there. The other big news story this week was that David F. Sandberg, the director of Shazam! Fury of the Gods, he recently participated in an AMA, Ask Me Anything, on Instagram, through Instagram, and he revealed that yes, he was once interested in directing a Superman movie. Had a big interest a couple of years ago in doing that, but he says at one point I would have said Superman was his favorite hero that he would have decided he wanted to have an interest in taking on, but when there are so many different expectations and hardcore fans, you're going to piss off so many people no matter what you do. So he's decided to stray away from doing that and says that he doesn't want anything to do with it anymore, but because of what he saw what happened with The Last Jedi of all movies and the way the fans reacted to that. Is this a valid point? Does he have a reason to be,
Are there toxic parts of Superman fandom? Yes. They come from all sides.
Yes.
It's not just the Snyder people.
Yes.
And I'm not. When Man of Steel came out that weekend, it was just kind of funny to sit on social media and watch Superman fandom melt down. And it's just like the Civil War broke out. I swear to God, I want to team up with Ken Burns and do like a documentary on it, and like have like letters home from the Great Wars, with like violin music playing in the background. But it's the more interesting thing to me, and we'll circle back to how toxic the fandom can be, is all these years, all we've ever heard from these directors is that they don't listen to the fans.
Yeah,
basically.
That's right.
And not that they're not considering that there is a fan base, but they're going ahead with their take on the property, regardless of what the expectations are, because this is the artwork that they want to create.
Yeah.
It's funny that he brings up The Last Jedi, because The Last Jedi the response to that movie all over the place was really full of vitriol. And I think one of the reasons is that movie very specifically looks at the fandom and says you need to let go. And I don't think Man of Steel did that, but at the same time, it's just really weird that a director would say, I don't want to do it because I don't want people to yell at me on social media. And I get that, because it's probably draining, but you can mute things, you can block things.
Exactly.
You don't have to, directly engage, and it's probably better that you don't. But the fact of the matter is that some of us are jerks. and have no real problem with showing their behinds. I was about to say a bad word. On a regular basis, and can't let somebody else just basically say, "Hey, I like this." It's like if man, I thought Man of Steel was the best Superman movie ever. Somebody's always got to come in and say it sucks, instead of just letting it go and moving on with your day.
Yeah, so many people take somebody else's opinion that differs from their own as a challenge to prove them wrong, or as a slight on them. It's like if you say I prefer vanilla and I say I like chocolate, and you say no, I like vanilla, and it's like, are you saying that I'm an idiot because I like chocolate? It's like they just it's not a bash on the head to you because you have a different opinion. People like different things. Move on. You don't have to try to sway them to your way of thinking, and at the same time, they are not abusing you because their opinion differs to yours. They're not saying anything negative about you for liking what you like. Allow them to like what they like, but people just cannot get over that. They've got to take it as a challenge to try to make them think the way they think.
Yeah, I mean, and then on the other hand, you have people, I saw a tweet today, and I've seen different versions of this, is that Tyler Hoechlin is the Walmart version of Henry Cavill. And I'm like, okay, one, you might be a bot, so that's entirely possible. But on the other hand, if you're posting that, you're basically saying, come at me, bro.
Yeah.
And that, you don't have to do that either. There are plenty of ways you can better spend your time than arguing with people about Superman on the internet. Now, if you want to have a fun conversation, like you're having like an actual debate, an actual conversation, where the expectation isn't that somebody's going to change their mind, and that's fun. That can be kind of enjoyable. But I always compare it to liver, not the organ, the meal. Is that I don't like liver. I don't like the taste of it. I've had it once or twice. I find it to be kind of a disgusting hunk of meat. But somebody out there can do a recipe and make the best liver on the face of the planet, and objectively it's good. I'm still not going to like it, but I'm not going to sit there all night and talk about why I don't like liver when I ordered something else. It's just I don't I mean, I understand it because I used to do it. There were times 10, 15 years ago where I'd see something and I was like, well, I've got to argue about this. It's a religious calling.
Yeah.
And that's the other problem, is that so often in Superman fandom in particular, we act like different sects of Christianity. And when someone and kind of look at Superman so much, and your version of Superman becomes so much of your identity, that just as if you are evangelical or Catholic and someone challenges that, they're challenging you, and you start arguing from that, and it's just like, no, I've got better things to do with my time, in all honesty. I'm just surprised he said it. To go back to the actual comment, it's just that's a weird thing to admit.
Yeah, exactly. It's just just say, no, I once had an interest, but I think I've moved on from that, or something like that. You don't have to point at the fans as the reason. And of course, then you just raise the ire of the fans who go, well, thanks, mate.
Yeah.
Appreciate the compliment.
He's like, I don't want to direct that Superman film because of the fans. Saying it so that the fans are going to read that. I don't know what he was going to get.
What kind of reaction he thought he was
I don't know what he was going to get. But is he saying, I just don't want to deal with that side of it? And maybe something about how fandom reacted to The Last Jedi spooked him to a certain extent.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. Fans these days have more power than maybe they once did before, and I think the Snyder people have shown that with Release the Snyder Cut, and how that was driven and how it came to fruition. So now there's this rabid fan base who say, we do have a voice, we can make a difference, And so they're hiring aeroplanes to drag banners across the sky and hiring out billboards. It's not just an online petition where you get signatures or things like that. They're actually physically mobilizing and becoming a small army. And it can be probably a little bit scary to studios, directors, or whatever, when they go, holy crap, we're dealing with these rabid fans who are not going to just let things lie. They're going to, for years, drive at this if we don't do it correct. So yeah, I don't blame them for going, nah, put it in a too hard basket. Not my problem.
I mean, I just think that if you love a property and you're given and somebody actually gave you an opportunity to participate into it, man, that's got to be kind of a strong feeling to say no to that.
Yeah, exactly.
But then again, you have people, and here's where I'm going to poke the Zack Snyder fans. Snyder seems really happy to kind of poke at the fandom. I think he gets something out of that in a way that may not be healthy. Because it just seems like every once in a while he releases something and you see like it's
provocative.
He's throwing meat to a bunch of dogs and they're like
yeah, hungry dogs. Yeah, waiting for any bone that he throws at them. So I can understand his thoughts and feelings, but I just don't think that's an avenue to deliver that message, because you're just going to get angry fans coming at you like you didn't want in the first place. What you tried to avoid, you've just laid back at your front door.
Yeah.
Anyway, we move on, and talking about movies, there is a fan film that was just released recently by the same people, Multiverse Fan Films, who made the Man of Tomorrow fan film from a couple of years ago. They recently launched the release of their new film, Defiance, which is a Superman Joker film, or probably more correct to say it's a Lois Lane Joker film. Here was the teaser trailer from recent, actually it was a while ago, but you can watch the full film now. It's I think it's about 90 minutes long, or maybe not that long. I think it's about 45 actually. I think I've just doubled its length. But here is the international teaser trailer for it.
I've been waiting for this for so long, Miss Lane. An exclusive interview.
The full movie is available now. The Joker and Harley Quinn kidnap journalist Lois Lane for the interview of the century. In his final show for the world, will the Joker remain the eternal prince of crime, or will he finally achieve the godlike status he wishes for? So it's a follow-up to the Man of Tomorrow fan film. So Superman has kind of gone missing and has kind of fallen. So if you're interested, it's a French release. So they've dubbed over the French dialogue with some great English dialogue from the actors who have done the voices for it, and it's pretty well cast and pretty well filmed, so do check it out. It's on our website if you'd like to have a look.
Certainly looks interesting. I think we're getting better and better with fan films just because the technology is there to do it.
And now they do crowdfunding and all that kind of stuff,
yeah.
So where before they just do it out of their own pocket, now they can actually fund it to a degree, and that's just improves the quality, as you said. So yeah, in that trailer, Lois's voice was the more French, but she has been overdubbed by an American actress, so you should check that out. All right, let's look to Superman and Lois now on television. You reviewed the 9th episode of season 2, which was titled 30 Days and 30 Nights. This was very much. I now understand why Tyler Hoechlin was also starring in this episode, because he wasn't that heavily involved, but you didn't notice because his absence was a catalyst for so many dramatic beats in this episode.
Yeah, it was a really good way to kind of bring some of the subplots to a head and like flesh out those stories a little more without having to stretch it out for more episodes. And now they can really shift into gear for the, you know, the bizarro end of it. You know, we're going to be talking about the next episode in a few minutes, but you know, I almost wanted them to title it World Without a Superman.
Yeah.
Simply because, I mean, you had Steel and Superboy doing stuff, and there was just a lot of really good moments, and a lot of stuff that felt in a good way like Smallville on its better episodes too. So it was an interesting episode because, like you said, Superman's not in it, and he didn't really mind.
Yeah.
Because you like these, they've done such a good job of making all of the other character stories interesting that you can take an episode and deal with them. And speaking for myself here, I was totally bought in on everything. So I was just watching it going, man, this is good.
And we got questions flowing thick and fast. Firstly, Mind the Gap says he thought the past 2 episodes were a bit lackluster. And that's fair enough. If you're more into the Superman side of things, that could be a take on it. John Patrick Van Pelt says, what did you guys think of Jordan's first flight and going into the fire until help had arrived since Superman's not around? I really liked the fact that he stepped up and decided that he needed to be proactive. You know, Lois wasn't impressed, but we kind of had that conversation that's kind of, I'm going to go to probably the negative side of Man of Steel here, where young Clark says, what was I supposed to do, let them die? And it's similar here. Jordan's going, well, what was I supposed to do? Dad's not around. What was I supposed to let the fire, let what's his name die? Eric Valdez's character, Kyle Cushing. And it was just a really good moment because Lois said, no, of course not. But you're still you're still a teenager. You're still, not getting used to your powers and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, the first flight, that was really cool. It was just more like a leap out the window, but you could obviously tell that they were hinting that was more of a levitational type of thing than just him pouncing out the window. Yeah,
the funny thing about Lois in this episode, and it's just amusing me, is that what does she expect her kids to do?
Yeah.
like
forget that they're Lois, Superman's kids, they're Lois Lane's kids.
Yeah, this is the thing. It's like why is Jonathan so hardcore about, keeping his source safe? Why is Jordan leaping into danger when he thinks he should? It's because their mother made a career of this, and that was kind of brought home when she was sitting there telling Sam, you're not going to get out of it because it's this type of knot. If it was this type of knot, you could do it. And he looks at her and goes, how many times have you been tied up? And it was a subtle moment. It really didn't like they didn't bring attention to it.
Yeah.
But it was just one of those moments that for the first time Sam is kind of seeing what his daughter is ultimately like what is your life really like? Like what did she expect? Which is why when she told him to stay in the car at the end and then called for help, I wasn't like, no, Lois is going against what she said. I think she needed to be put in a situation to realize that Jordan is the only one that can help them in this situation. I don't think she expected him to take on the guy, the XK guard, as I will call him. But I think she was just like, okay, we do need help. He does need to get out of the car. And the same with Jonathan's story is like, he finally tells her about Candace, and you could see at first that she really wants to be mad at Candace because of, Jonathan's life is kind of not ruined at this point.
Yeah.
But then at the end, you kind of saw it's just like, no, I'm going to, I always protect my sources. We're going to help you. You have the entire DOD at your disposal. I'm assuming the DOD is involved in this because of the XK.
Yeah.
They wouldn't just be
helping a teenager
running
out.
down a meth organization or anything. But it was just so well done. And I love that Jordan got to experience the highs and lows of having these powers because, he got to save Kyle. and he saved his mom, and he saved his grandfather, and his girlfriend still broke up with him.
He saved his girlfriend's father, but he can't tell her.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, this is so Smallville. This is so great.
Now, does John Henry know about Jordan's powers?
I'm assuming he does.
Because Lois kind of covers for him, they kind of, Steele comes in and saves the day and says to him, "Get out of here," but he's still got the hood on and he's got his back to him, so he doesn't necessarily see his face. So I was just like, I'm not sure. Is there a cover up here for John Henry? But there shouldn't be, because he knows the family secrets. So
yeah, I mean, he was in the big fight at the end of last season when Jordan got taken over. So
I didn't know.
He has to know something, and basically, get out of here probably was more for, you don't have a face covering and I do. Someone's going to figure out who you are.
Yeah. So that was an interesting kind of cover there by Lois. Since Candace is telling Lois and Sam the truth about where XK inhalers came from, what do you think will happen to Mickey Giroux moving forward? Well, I guess he'll be caught up in the whole, dealing drugs thing.
Yeah, I mean, he got tossed around pretty good last episode. So, usually in those situations, the people at the top of the food chain don't really take failure that well. So I don't think he'll have to worry about the cops. I think he has to worry about his bosses killing him. Yeah,
exactly. And obviously there's a big production company behind the XK inhalers. So the person trying to stop Lois and Sam from figuring it all out is still to be kind of revealed. We don't know where the head honchos are behind this drug company, if you like, but it could be Lex Luthor for all we know. It could be something like that. I think it's to be revealed.
It may be something they're setting up for next season. Like the season finale will kind of deal with it, and because we got the whole Bizarro thing going on. So it's important, but I think they gave us, like I said, they extended, they kind of brought this storyline to a head, which also dealt with and the Lana for Mayor storyline kind of reached a new level to it, so that next week, or next time, not next week, because we got to wait 2 more weeks for the next episode, we can kind of just focus on the fact that, we've got Allie to deal with. And, wow. So, members of the DOD in Allie's cult.
Who would have figured?
Was wondering when that was gonna come up, because I figured at least one of those people were in her thrall.
Mind the Gap proposing that could be Bruno Mannheim behind the drugs.
And that would be really cool, and I really wouldn't put it past the writing team.
To know about that.
To do that. So I'd like to see who they would cast as Bruno Mannheim. That would be kind of interesting.
Yes. So yes, the whole Alley thing and the Bizarro universe. I'm guessing Superman had to gain speed to be able to break that divide, because he went around in circles and then zoomed into the breach, if you like, the wormhole. That was interesting. I didn't see that happening, but I loved the effect, and the flying sequences in this were awesome. But and then at the end we had this big cliffhanger ending with the Superboy from the Bizarroverse coming to this universe, and he had to correct his speech and be able to talk properly because it just automatically wanted to be in reverse. So that was interesting, seeing Jordan Elsas in that costume.
Yeah, it's we saw the pictures, leaked a month or so back, and I remember when I first saw that, I was like, that's not going to be Jonathan. That's gonna. And then it occurred to me when I saw the torn up costume that it was going to be the Bizarro world. And it looks like I was half right on that, because Superman's cape kind of got torn up a little bit when he was flying through the breach. So now I am curious is that a flashback sequence they were filming, or is that something to do with the present? I'm kind of fascinated about it anyways. The trailer for the next episode looked amazing.
Yeah, well, let's have a look at that. This is the trailer for the upcoming episode, which is titled Bizarros in a Bizarro World.
Jordan, you don't have to keep doing this.
It's been a month. Dad's never been gone this long.
I'm sure he has a really good reason, okay?
Clark's coming back, like he always does.
No, Clark? He's still on assignment in Metropolis.
Wow, must be a really big story.
There's something I would like to show you. Something that would change everything.
Lois is pregnant.
I'm gonna be an uncle!
They're giving your dad a major award.
Let me guess, world's greatest dad?
Not this again.
Can we try to have one nice night together as a family? Allie found a portal to another Earth.
This would be the end of humanity as we know it.
Superman and Lois. New episodes return Tuesday, April 26th. Free next day.
There you have it. Geez, some interesting looks, some different hairdos. How the hell did they tame, what's his name, Alex Garfin's hair to make him an emo-looking kid?
Yeah, that kid definitely listens to Morrissey. He might be wearing a wig.
Yeah.
It's entirely possible. I do. I have to say, and I say this in a purely respectable way. Wow, Dark Lana. I'm kind of liking that a little bit.
I wonder if there was a Nicodemus flower involved.
Yeah. No, I really enjoyed. I enjoyed that trailer and seeing the pictures and looking how dark and emo both Jonathan and Jordan look. And I'm guessing in this world, Clark Kent wasn't an identity like it is on our world, so to speak.
Yeah, no, you're right, because he was in the limo together as a whole family.
And I love that we're having Talro back. They were in the bar together. I'm going to be an uncle! That was just...
yeah, very
really
interesting.
looking forward to this episode.
And John's asking, do you think this will be the last break? Well, let's address the break to begin with. People going, what, 3-week break between episodes again? Like, what's going on? And Elizabeth Tulloch took to Twitter to explain that the delays were forced by COVID. She said, I fully understand people's frustrations with these breaks, but they are due to COVID-related production shutdowns. We are all doing our best to keep shooting during an ongoing pandemic and appreciate your grace and understanding. So they're obviously still dealing with stuff that, you know, being close contacts with people who catch it. You know, important people involved in the production catch it and have to go into lockdown or isolation. So you can understand that these things happen, and to stay safe and to keep things going in the long run, they've got to have these breaks that are necessary.
Yeah, because they're having a lot of shots with extras, like the whole thing, you know, the whole scene of
the
Lana's,
town, the mayor,
you know, election headquarters. There was a lot of people in that scene, and you know, not only that, you're dealing with the crew, and I get where people are upset because, you know, they just get a good head seam and then we have to stop again. I actually kind of like that we're stretching it out a little bit, mainly because, you know, we get more of it down the line. It's like if they blew through all 15 episodes in,
Blink of an eye.
3 months, 3.5 months, you know, you'd be like, oh great, now we have to wait. You know, it'd be like Doctor Who fans who have to wait like 15 years between episodes.
So we wait for the next one, and hopefully that is the last one. We don't know how production might be stalled again due to COVID issues, but fingers crossed we don't have any more breaks. I'm going to play a quick break ourselves, have some messages, and come back on the flip side to talk more about Superman and Lois, comic books, and so much more. Stay with us.
We'll be back in a moment with the exciting climax of today's episode. So stand by.
If you're enjoying Superman Homepage Live, then please like and share this video with your family and friends. Also, if you'd like to subscribe to our YouTube channel, then you can click on the bell to receive notifications whenever we post a new video. You can also join our YouTube membership program, just click the join button below. Or you can become a patron and support our website by going to patreon.com/supermanhomepage.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird.
It's a plane. No, it's SupermanHomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. SupermanHomepage.com, covering the world of Superman from the 1930s to today. News, reviews, rumors, and reports. SupermanHomepage.com for all your Superman comics, TV shows, movies, cartoons, radio shows, and more. Everything you ever wanted to know about the Man of Steel and more. SupermanHomepage.com.
Thanks, Superman Homepage, for all the support over the years. I really appreciate it.
I'm Matt Bomer. I'm the voice of Superman and Superman Unbound, and this is the Superman Homepage.
Right here on Superman Homepage.
As the airline that flies to more countries than any other, Turkish Airlines is pleased to announce a new destination. Metropolis. A city reborn, rebuilt, and stronger than ever. Proud of its heritage and its heroes.
Well, thanks to LexCorp's substantial contribution, Metropolis is now open for business again.
Come visit the city of tomorrow. Today.
We can't wait to welcome you.
Book your flight now on Turkish Airlines.
And we're back on Superman Homepage Live, where, yes, please give us a thumbs up right now if you're enjoying the show. Hit that like button, and we'll appreciate your support. All right, well, speaking of being on a bit of a break, while they're still filming at the moment, the crew of Superman and Lois have been busy this past weekend. Elizabeth Tulloch and Tyler Hoechlin were at WonderCon in Anaheim on Saturday, April 2nd, where they were with Todd Helbing, the showrunner, and participated in a Q&A with the fans. And Todd Helbing was asked about the possibility of crossovers, about Supergirl, and this is what he had to say in regards to that whole thing about, whether or not we will see Supergirl or see her mentioned.
Magazine, Mr. Damian Holbrook. Hello, Wonder Time. One of them now, but feeling like he's trying to find his way. And what about John? What can you tell us about what's going on with John before we go? Because
wrong. So as
No, again, just because of the pandemic, it's hard to have those conversations. I think it's just hard to get anybody on our set, and just anybody to visit the set. So it's none
of our family members have been to set yet. So.
Yes.
All right. And any chance of at least Clark getting a text from Kara?
She's right here.
Yeah, she's right there. Yeah. All I'll say is, I think, look, everybody has this question, why why aren't we bringing up Supergirl or Flash or any of the other heroes? And aside from us not being able to do crossovers and wanting to put our own stamp on this property, I'll just say that at the end of this season, you'll get the answer to the questions that you guys have.
All right. Okay.
So by the end of the season, we will have the answer to that question about Supergirl, the extended universe, other Arrowverse shows, and where Superman and Lois fits. Interesting.
Yeah, I want to make something absolutely clear, because I was looking at the video and it realized that because I got distracted with something on the floor, it looked like I was asleep. I wasn't. I was just like, man, I look like I'm asleep. No.
Do I need to dial 911? Get some help there for Michael.
Yeah, I was something dropped on the floor and I was like, how am I going to pick that up and not look like I'm picking it up? But anyways, No, this is one of those things where I saw so much reaction to that quote over the last couple of days, and it's just like one of those things where I'm just unconcerned.
Yeah.
But for people who are concerned, it's probably a really big deal. But for me, it's just like, okay, if they address it, they address it. If not, it's not gonna take away or add anything to it. I thought it was more adorable that they actually addressed that Clark only shaves halfway.
That was an interesting discussion.
But that's just because Tyler is kind of charming just in general. But no, it's just like one of those things is like, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they do it. I'm worried that no matter what they do, it's not going to satisfy everybody.
True.
So it's like some people are like, oh, maybe like some of the clickbait headlines are Supergirl and Flash going to be in the last episode of the... No, they're not. And if they are, great. But I don't think they are.
That's not what they were saying.
Yeah.
No. And as far as the 4 o'clock shadow, 3 o'clock shadow, whatever they call it, 5 o'clock shadow, it's forever a shadow on Tyler Hoechlin's face. He addressed it as... I thought it was an interesting way of like, he says, I'm not really old enough to have 15, 16, 17-year-old son, whatever the age they are at the moment. So I thought it would age my character a little bit if I did look a little bit older by having stubble. And plus, it just makes it easier for makeup that they don't have to shave me every day. And in story, I just say that I set my heat vision at a lesser degree so that it only just, gives it a nice, fine stubble look rather than a clean-shaven look. That was interesting. But yeah, for his character, it's kind of I've gone past that now. Like initially, it was like, yeah, geez, why do they do that? But now he's kind of given us an answer.
Yeah. So, I mean, we saw Diggle, so we know that that was a character they had nothing to do with before, because Arrow was on a separate universe. So obviously, on this universe, Diggle and the Kents and Lane Kent, whatever she goes by officially, have some history together. But I'm just so like amused at how the moment it was like put out there, like the headlines just started hitting social media fast and furious about, and they were everywhere from Supergirl going to be addressed by end of season to will Supergirl appear on show to Supergirl and Flash are gonna. It's like this game of telephone, and it's just I'm just
yeah.
Fandom is exhausting.
It is. And then the next day at PaleyFest in Hollywood, at the Dolby Theatre in Hollywood, the entire cast pretty much was there to do a special screening. They turn that on. There is Tyler Hoechlin and Elizabeth Tulloch on the red carpet, and then the entire panel there. You can see everybody from Wale Parks, the actress who plays his daughter, the actress who plays Chrissy Beppo. You've got the entire family of the Kents, the Cushings. So all of them were there in attendance, answering fan questions. It looked like they had a good time. Waiting for a full video to come up for that at the PaleyFest YouTube channel, and as soon as it does, I will let you guys know, and we will post it on our website.
Yeah, I love the fact that the woman that plays Christy Beppo, she looks so... She doesn't look nerdy, but she looks so normal on the show. But when you see her outside at that, she looks like she has this real exotic look to her, and I'm like, that is amazing. And I was also very impressed with Emmanuel's outfit. That was an interesting floral suit that she was wearing. I'm like, wow, that I realize I'm going to come off as like, those Hollywood types, but it's just like, man, it must be really neat that you get to go, I'm going to wear this, and everyone's just going to like it, and we're just going to go with that. But it was kind of neat seeing the entire cast out of costume, like in
all dolled up.
Though somebody, I forget who, said that it looked like Bitsy was wearing Sarah Douglas's outfit from Superman 2, and I was kind of there for that. I was just like, yeah, I can see that.
Very cool. All right, turning our attention elsewhere, but still in the world of, well, television and movies. Nolan North, who fans will remember as being the voice of both Superman and Superboy in the Young Justice animated series. He's also been the voice of Superman in various Lego DC Comics superheroes animated films. He'll be appearing, if you don't know what he looks like, this is the gentleman right here. He'll be appearing at the Fan Expo Cleveland across April 29th to May 1st. Head to fanexpohq.com for tickets and further details. So, yeah, pretty cool.
Yep.
In Cleveland. All right, you might be wondering what the background behind me was in reference to for today's show. I'm just going to quickly get to that, and then we'll get into the fan favourite segment and This Week in History. But DC today released the press materials. Oop, turn off Nolan's there. For what is called Superman Space Age, a new 3-issue prestige format miniseries from Mark Russell and Mike Allred. Meet Clark Kent, a young reporter who just learned that the world will soon come to an end and there is nothing he can do to save it. And when they say comes to an end, they mean Crisis on Infinite Earths, in brackets. Sounds like a job for his alter ego, Superman. Superman Space Age from critically acclaimed writer Mark Russell and Eisner winner artist Mike Allred will be available in comic shops on July 26th.
That does sound interesting.
Variant covers.
I think Mike Allred's extremely talented. I've never been a really big fan of his style, but you know, I mean, my buying habits are so weird. I actually bought a physical copy of World's Finest #1 and read it over the weekend.
I saw that.
So it was really good, by the way.
Yes.
I really enjoyed it.
So the further description here says, after standing idle. After years of standing idle, the young man from Krypton defies the wishes of his father to come out to the world as the first superhero of the space age. As each decade passes and each new danger emerges, he wonders if this is the one that will kill him and everyone he loves. Superman realizes that even good intentions are not without their backlash as the world around him transforms into a place as determined to destroy itself as he is to save it. There you go. So Superman Space Age, as I said, coming out first issue, July 26th.
That kind of sounds like similar to something Marvel did recently, where they've done it with Spider-Man and the Fantastic Four, where they had it. Spider-Man first appears in 1962, and here is his life story playing out in real time.
Interesting.
And it kind of sounds like they're doing a play on that. That I'm actually more interested in checking it out now.
All right, well, let's get into the fan favourite segment of our show.
Just had to guess that this is the time that I come in.
Alrighty,
yes. Folks.
I'll do that for you.
Oh, we're doing the fan favourite, right?
Yes, fan favourite.
Thought we were doing This Week in History. I'm a little off today. You go, I'll shut up.
So our fan favourite question from last week was, what is your favourite Superman car accessory? And I believe we only had one person send in a response. Who was that, Mike?
That was Ryan Ignatius Pratt. He said, these cool Superman car floor mats are my favorite Superman car accessories. While they do not look pristine now, these floor mats of steel have served me well for many years. Those are cool. I
had a pair of those. Set of those.
When I got when I bought a new car, it was a used car but new to me. Back in 2015, my wife tricked it out with seat coverings and floor mats, and she even had this really cool light that you plugged into the USB thing, and you activated it to put a Superman symbol on the ceiling of the car if you wanted it. What I learned is that car seat covers wear out and start tearing eventually. So I still have the floor mats, but yeah, and that got torn up too because it was more fabric.
Yes.
But it was still nice that she did it.
Yeah, you can do anything. I had car seat covers like these for the longest time, and they were making them, manufacturing them here in Australia, and so we started buying them out from every store available around and exporting them to the US, because for the longest time you couldn't buy them from Amazon or anywhere for car seat covers for Superman fans. So that was a nice lucrative time back then, but these days they're pretty much a dime a dozen. You can get Superman car seat covers, floor mats, back and front. You can get steering wheel covers, stickers, vinyl stickers so that they don't wear and deteriorate over time. You can check out your car, hubcaps, all those kinds of things are available at one time or another. Aerial little dangle things that you could put on where it looked like Superman was flying when you were driving. I even saw a car here once with a Superman cape coming out of the roof, the sunroof. Like they had that attached. So yeah. But thank you to Ryan for sending in that response. Yeah. So what's our new fan favorite question?
This one, I'm going to have to dig mine out. What is your favorite Superman jigsaw puzzle?
Yeah, and thank you to Justin Suarez, who's in the lot watching tonight and in isolation here in Sydney. One of his family members, or a couple of his family members, have COVID, and so he's in isolation with them and was doing a jigsaw puzzle today, trying to kill some time, and sent me the suggestion. I said, yeah, what a great idea. So yeah, let us know, what is your favorite Superman jigsaw puzzle? There've been a few over the years. That's the email address on the bottom of your screen, info@supermanhomepage.com. Send us your response and we will feature the answers when we return to this segment next week.
Woohoo!
All right, let's move into This Week in History.
Come with me now, my son, as we break through the bonds of your earthly confinement, traveling through time and space.
Alrighty, folks. Our first comic comes from 1962 this week. It's Superboy number 97. The Super Mischief of Super Baby. I have accepted much from the Silver Age and have embraced it and have loved it. Super Baby is one of those that I haven't. Those stories, yeah, there's a lot to those. Also, that same year, but a couple days later, we had Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen number 61, which had Jimmy Olsen's Wildest Adventure. That's a bold statement considering that comic. Olsen the Roughneck and Jimmy Olsen Coward. So
yeah,
that is kind of a fascinating cover. Jumping up to 1972, we have Superman number 252, which was a 100-pager with a beautiful Neil Adams cover of all of the flying characters.
Was this a wraparound cover?
Yes, it was. It goes all the way around.
Because just an interesting little note here. The Superman in Metropolis, Illinois, they have a big billboard with that Superman flying from Neil Adams. And see how you can see the Hawkman cape, the little bit of grey of his wing at the top of Superman's cape there. They included that and painted it red, and it looks a little bit weird, but you can actually tell that it's Hawkman's wing if you know and look at it, not Superman's cape. But just a bit of trivia there for you.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome! Next time I go to Metropolis, I'll have to look for that. This contains a bunch of reprints and like all of those characters that are on there: Hawkman, Dr. Fate, Black Condor, Spectre. They all got stories in this one. Jumping ahead to 1982, a comic that cost me more money than it really should have. DC Comics presents number 47. There was a point where this was $1 in the back issues. And then back in 2001, when I finally wanted to buy it, He-Man got popular again, and this thing disappeared.
Oh, wow.
So, and then I sold it again because I am me. But yes, this was Superman teaming up with the Masters of the Universe. If you're a Filmation He-Man fan, that comic's going to confuse you. Justice League of America number 204 also came out that week with a beautiful George Perez cover, even though Don Heck did the interiors with them fighting the Royal Flush Gang, which is always cool. Jumping ahead to 1992, we got Action Comics number 677, which has Supergirl punching the Shaz out of Superman. This was the lead up to this They Saved Luthor's Brain storyline, which is kind of fascinating. And then jumping ahead To 2002, we have Superman number 181, The Mirror Cracked Again, with a beautiful Ed McGuinness cover. Very appropriate to current Superman and Lois, I would say.
Especially with them not being able to kind of detach themselves from one another.
Yeah, it's almost like the people running the show read the comics. We also have Superman and Savage Dragon Chicago. I read this. I have no memory of it.
No, neither do I. I remember it too, but can't remember the
I
story.
remember it being good, but I just don't remember what it was about. And also that same week, Young Justice number 44 with Superboy in it in his ugly costume. I hated that one. And then finally, 2012 Action Comics number 8 for the Fate of Metropolis. Jumping ahead to the real world, we got a couple things to talk about there. On April 3rd, Marlon Brando was born in 1924. On April 5th, Cameron Cuff, who was Seg-El, so we've got his father and now his grandfather, was born in England in 1990. God, I'm old. Born in 1993. Russell Crowe was born on April 7th, 1964. And on April 8th, we have both Jack Halloran, who was born in 1943, and John Schneider, who was born in 1960. And then finally, on April 10th, Kyler Lee, Alex Danvers in the 2015 Supergirl series, and star of the Marilyn Manson video Tainted Love, was born in 1982. And that is This Week in History.
Thank you, Michael. Well, we're running out of time, so let's quickly go through the comic books that are available this week for fans reading comic books. This is what you have to look forward to. We have... Oh, turn off Kyler Lee there. Just quickly, where is she? Turn that off. We have Suicide Squad number 14 out this week, and that is available in this variant cover right there. Also out this week is World of Krypton number 5, and that is also available in this variant cover. And that is all that's available this week in the world of comic books. So that's pretty much brings us to the end of tonight's show. Thank you for watching Superman Homepage Live. We appreciate you joining in for this last hour and being with us. And thank you to our sponsors and patrons, Douglas Meacham, John Patrick Van Pelt, and Tina Murray. Michael and I will be back next week for our next edition of Superman Homepage Live on April 11th at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Time. We hope you'll join us then. Until then, be sure to check out supermanhomepage.com for all your daily news updates on everything surrounding the Man of Steel. I didn't get to mention the April Fool's pranks that we ran this past week on April Fool's Day. That's why I'm wearing the Mixie shirt. They went gangbusters and the website hits went through the roof. People believing that Henry Cavill was returning as a Superman villain, obviously meaning Lex Luthor, and that a Kent baby was on the way for season 3 of Superman and Lois. All fake news stories, made them up myself. Don't blame me, it's just a bit of fun. Hope you didn't get caught out too badly, but just wanted to pay mention to that. But that's the show for this week. I'm Steve Eunice. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Michael.
Pleasure as always, Steve.
See you next week, everyone. Bye-bye.